Well, good evening, my wonderful, wonderful friend. And tonight you are here. It is Tuesday night, and it is time for the Mindset Coach question and answer. Well, not really a question and answer, but free advice for tonight. Of course, if you have any questions, all you got to do is just type your questions to tonight's show in the comments down below. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. Tonight, we've got a really interesting topic, and it is the three cancers of mind. But before we start, I am always very excited that I have a sponsor for this show. And so the sponsorship that I have on our show now that I come to you every Tuesday night here, bringing you some free advice. Now, my name is Troy. I am a mindset coach, and thank you for allowing me to come into your life tonight, bringing you some important discussion of how we can work with our mindset. And our mindset is so important that there's a lot that goes on, and you matter. Okay, you matter when it comes to this kind of work. So Sideways Sounds Engineering is a recording studio in Denver, Colorado, with Pierre Carrillo, who's one of my great friends, being behind the engineering for 20 years. Now, he specializes in hip hop and R&B, but will take on almost all genres of music. Pierre has been working with major artists such as Spice One, Baby Bash, Shanti Lowe, Dizzy Wright, among others, as well as hundreds of local artists and musicians. Pierre has an immense passion for the work he does and treats every client's work like it is his own. So that talks really highly about his work. He has a comfortable, welcoming studio and uses all of the top industry gear like universal audio interfaces, Avalon tubes, Newman mics, and all of the latest and best plugins from Waves, Universal Audio, Fab Filters, and others. You can reach him on Instagram at Sideways Sounds or on Facebook at Sideways Sounds Engineering. You can also visit his website, which is sidewayssounds.com. So thank you, Pierre and Sideways Sounds, for being our official sponsor for our Tuesday night mindset moments or mindset nights that we come together here. All right, so you see the title, Three Cancers of Mind, right? Three cancers of mind. So you need to get your pen and paper. You need to get your notebook every Tuesday. I'm bringing you free advice so that you can think about this, really work with this, because these are things that matter when it comes to our mindset, because that's the one thing we have control over is what we think, what we believe, our limiting beliefs. We got to clear those out so that we can have unlimiting beliefs. And we're going to go from there. So I'm super excited to have you here, my friend. Welcome, welcome. So tonight I'm going to give you some free advice about the three cancers of the mind. Again, if you have any questions or comments, just put them in the comments down below and we will answer those tonight. Well, I'll answer those tonight. I always say we like there's more, but that's because my mind has more multiple people in there. All right. So tonight's topic is, as you can see, three cancers of the mind. These are the three C's. All right. You ready? Here we go. We're going to write these down. Three C's are, first one is comparing. That's right. Comparing. The number 2C is complaining. All right. Complaining. And the third one is criticizing. All right. Criticizing. So again, the three cancers of the mind are these three C's. They are comparing, complaining, and criticizing. I'm going to go in briefly about those three things. I'm going to give you a quick little strategy that you can use to help yourself to remove those cancers. Now, remember, cancer is an infection. Okay. We know the medical science says that cancer is an inflammation of a part of our cells and our organs that creates, and then it just multiplies, right? We know a lot of people have dealt with cancer. I being a cancer survivor myself, and it just flourishes. Once that inflammation occurs, boom, it starts going. We can consider our thoughts as the inflammation, because remember, what we think becomes our reality, and what becomes our reality becomes our world. And there's a lot of work that you have to do in order to remove all of that. So comparing, complaining, and criticizing, those are the three cancers of the mind. Let's talk about comparing. This one is so prevalent in our world today, in your world today, because of social media, the news, the movies, what we see on our TV, however it is, technology. And then sometimes it's beyond that. It's the person sitting next to us. It's the person that we work with. It's the people that we live with. It's the loved ones that we care for. We fall into what we call the comparison. Cancer number one of the mind is comparing. We start to compare. We become very jealous and envy of what the other person that we're comparing ourselves to, they have something that we don't, right? So we sit there, and I can remember myself saying, man, I wish I had what they had. I wish I had the life that they did. I wish I had all of this stuff, right? But I don't know their story. I don't know their story as of what are their struggles. I'm only seeing what they project and put out into the external world. I'm only seeing what they want me to see. And that's that comparing. So when you fall into that first cancer of the mind of comparing, you are rating yourself upon an expectation of someone else. Let me say that again. You are rating yourself on the scale of expectations upon someone else. And comparing is not a good thing for you if you're looking at the external world of someone else. Stop comparing. The only person that you really should compare against is yourself. And what I mean by that, this is a tip. How do I start working into removing the cancer of comparing as one of the three of the mind? What's simple? Do some mirror work. Look in the mirror. All right, look in the mirror. Look at yourself. And the thing that you should compare is, how are you going to compare yourself from yesterday to today? How are you going to take from today and compare it to tomorrow? That's where we look at when it comes to the idea of comparison. Okay, I'm not saying that comparing is wrong when you're doing it for yourself, but when you're comparing yourself amongst someone else, that's where it's wrong, right? Because you're never, in your mind, you're always going to find some flaw. You're going to have some type of fear that's going to hold you back, okay? Hold you back from being the best version of yourself. Coach Wooden, the coach of the UCLA, he said that you should always rate yourself on the best version of yourself for that day. Before you go to bed, tip number 2 on this, before you go to bed, is you ask yourself this simple question. Was I the best version of myself today? Did I give myself the best version of myself today and others? And if you can answer that question, yes, then you can compare yourself to say, all right, how am I going to carry it forward for tomorrow? If your answer is no, then you're going to have to sit there and think, what do I need to tweak that throughout my day and move forward for tomorrow? That's where the comparison, the good portion of comparison comes in, is when we look at ourselves. So tip number 1 is do mirror work. Look in the mirror. Look at yourself. Stop comparing your body features. Stop comparing your external world to others, to other people's body. One thing is, I've started working out, right? I do a dance routine in the morning, and it's this dance video that I do. And if you look at that, I caught myself sometimes saying, man, I really wish I had the body like this gentleman on there. Well, there I am right there, comparing, right? Comparing. And if I go in, if I choose to go to the gym and work out, and I see all these other people working out and they're already in physique, the body that I have, I know I can have that body, right? I can have something similar on there. But if I go in comparing, I'm never going to reach there because I'm going to hit a level of frustration. But if I go in and say, okay, I worked out yesterday, I did this set of routine, this set of workout. Now today, I'm going to come in, I'm going to compare myself to yesterday's workout. Look in the mirror. How am I showing up? What do I want to show up like? Who do I want to show up as? Do I want to show up as the people of the expectations of other views? Or do I want to show up as the view of myself? So tip number 1 was mirror work. Tip number 2 for comparing is asking yourself every single day, in the morning and in the evening, maybe 3 times a day, it's ask yourself, how can I be the best version of myself today? What does the best version of myself look like? Now, I love asking certain question is like, if I want to be a millionaire, I'm going to say, I'm not going to compare myself to the millionaire. What I'm going to ask myself is, I'm going to say, what does a millionaire look like? And then that's where I'm going to sit back and I'm really going to reflect on that, because I'm going to show up the way I think a millionaire should look like, right? That's the thing. So comparison is the first one. That's the first cancer, is comparing. Cancer number 2 is complaining. All right. You've heard that misery loves company. Now, complaining can be good if you use it effectively, but complaining can be very harmful. Again, that cancer idea, very harmful if it's not done right. So let's talk about the worst case scenario of complaining. Complaining is you go to the restaurant and your food's not served fast enough. What do? You start complaining. And then once you start complaining, you start to see things. Now, the thing about complaining is it infects other people around you. Again, misery loves company. I've talked about this multiple times, that energy. We are an energy being. So what we do is we project out those vibes. We project out that vibration. And so the thing about it is that we decide to say, I'm going to complain today. I'm probably going to get other people to find the negativity around. Negativity is a lot easier to absorb than the positivity. It works harder because the only reason is that negative vibes are very low vibration, whereas positive vibes are higher vibrations and they're harder to hold on to, right? We live in a society, in a world where negativity is everywhere. I mean, turn on the news, folks. Turn on the news, my friend, and you're going to experience that. You're going to see, okay, news is going to do that. News, that's a whole new topic, right? I haven't watched the news for over 5 years. I don't have cable. I see things on the internet. I will briefly read them, but I don't feed into them, right? So I can start complaining. Now, I love this because we can look outside. Right now, I could look out my window, all right, because it is cold and it's raining. I can do two things. I can look at this in a perspective of negativity and complain. Man, it's cold. Dang, I wish this weather would get better, right? But do I have really control over the weather? Do I have control over the weather? No, I don't. So what use is it going to complain? My dad, when I talked to him on the phone, he says, how was your day? And I said, oh, it was great and everything. He says, yeah, there's no need to complain because no one's really going to listen. Right? So you go to the restaurant and your food's not served in time. You go to the grocery store and the line's not moving fast enough. Man, those are instantaneous moments where you can start complaining. And what does complaining do? It starts to infect, like an inflammation of the cancer cells that just start and then they just spread. And then you might actually affect the person either in front of you or behind you. You may not have to say anything, but what you're projecting out through your vibration, through your energy, that person may start complaining. They may turn to you and say, oh my gosh, isn't it crazy how this line is? Well, yeah, it is. But, I always try to find the good in it. Maybe there's a reason why it's running slow. I don't know if the cashier is having a bad day. Maybe they've already been yelled at by several other people before me. But here I am complaining, right? Instead of boosting them up and saying, hey, how's it going? I'm going to add it to it. So complaining is number 2. It's the cancer number 2. So how can you do this? Here it is. A tip that you can do is when it comes to complaining is when you find yourself complaining, stop in the moment and shift it. Ask yourself this question. 1, do I have control over this? Do I have control over it? Okay. Number 2, where it's something good out of the situation of the complaining that I'm doing, can I find? What is something good out of the situation that I'm complaining about that I can find? I always challenge myself to find that because I'm human. I'm going to end up, there's times that I catch myself complaining and then I'm just like, okay, push the brakes. I got to stop because this isn't going to do anything for me. It's just going to bring down my energy. It's going to bring down my feeling and it's just going to make me more frustrated. And is that what I want to do? Was I placed here on the earth to be frustrated, to suffer? Suffer's a choice. So through complaining, I choose to suffer. There are things that you cannot control, right? Now, how can I change complaining into a better? Here's an easy thing. Sometimes complaining is really good. Sometimes when you walk up to someone and you're complaining about an issue or a situation, then sometimes you get your greatest solution from it. So that's when sometimes complaining can be its best effort. Okay? Complaining can be in the best effort is when you come in and you say, here's what's going on. This is what I'm doing. I can't figure this out. You find yourself complaining about something, but then someone that you're complaining with, if they are, and you could be this person, you can say, all right, I hear you loud and clear. Let's find a solution. What can we do to change this? See, there it is, just like standing in the line. Instead of feeding into all the things that are not going right and complaining about it, you can say, what is one good thing? One good thing. And I mean, sometimes I remember when I go to the grocery store with my mom, I would be walking by, and when we get to the line, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to go home. And just, I don't want, why did I even come here? And there's times, I'm not going to lie, I always say, oh my gosh, I got to go grocery shop. I hate grocery shopping, right? There I go with my complaining, right? But when I get there, then I see people, I start talking to them, I start looking at the things. And then again, like I'm on the aisle, I look at the magazines. I start to read the titles, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool there. I didn't know so-and-so was having a divorce. Oh, look at that. Someone's in the spotlight. I wonder why. So I distract myself in a positive way to say, what's the best thing? Or I've also noticed is that when I find the one good solution or the one good positive thing out of what I'm complaining about, I usually end up feeling a lot better. And I usually end up having a really great conversation with someone else, right? That's in the presence. Okay. So number 2 cancer of the mind was complaining. The first one was comparing. Number 2 is complaining. Here's our third one. The third cancer is this. Third cancer is criticizing. Criticizing. Yes, we love that. It's interesting. Too many times we try to find the flaw in someone else and we criticize them. And when we do that, if it's not constructive criticism, which means it's something that I'm going to give you back so that way you can better yourself. I'm pointing out something that you might need to work on. Okay? That's a good way to approach it. But if I'm going to criticize you over the smallest things, I'm going to criticize you always and continuously, then that's where it is. When you go and you find yourself criticizing, here's a tool that I want you to use. When you find yourself criticizing, okay, criticizing, one, take care of yourself first. I always tell people that when I hear them criticizing someone else, it means that there is something in the other person that they're criticizing that is reflecting back on me. So if I choose to start criticizing another person, there is something that is reflecting. There is something that they're doing that's triggering me that is something that I have not addressed about myself. That's where I stop. Okay, criticizing. Criticizing is we look and we always try to find some flaw or something in that to critique and to challenge in a way. So criticizing, and when we criticize the restaurant, we criticize, I mean, there's like I said, there's good criticism, but there's also that criticism that it's like, is this really great criticism? Or am I just being petty in a way because I just want to break down the spirit? I want to break down the person across me or next to me or beside me and just break them down for no odd reason. Because when I criticize someone, it empowers me. It makes me feel great about myself. But I always say, if you're doing that and you're criticizing and it makes you feel great about yourself, you got a lot of work to do there, my friend. You have a lot of work to do there because that means there are some deep-rooted self-limiting beliefs. There are some deep-rooted beliefs that you're holding onto and values that you're not addressing yet, right? So here is a fun way to do this. If you find yourself criticizing someone else, I want you to stop in the moment and I want you to list 10, yes, I said it, 10 positive good things about that person. You don't have to say it to them. But if you find yourself criticizing another human being, all right, or another situation, I want you to write down 10 good things about that person or about that situation if you're criticizing. Because these are the 3 cancers, okay? Comparing, criticism, and complaining. Those are the 3 cancers of the mind. Because if we, and think about that trio, you make that trio happen in one instantaneous moment, whoo, you've got a lot going on. A lot going on that you're going to come out exhausted. You're going to come out tired. You're going to be drained because of that whole situation. All right, the whole situation. So the thing about it, I want to leave you with this quote. This is probably the most amazing thing that I've ever read. And this comes from an amazing book that I'm doing a book study with right now, Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. Oh my gosh, opening, mind opener. I am in a I said, this book club that I'm in, oh my gosh, they are amazing. The people that I'm working with in this, and it's really making me think, and I'm digesting it. But he says in this book that is so true. And I want you to live with this quote here. Do not give your attention to what others do or fail to do. Give it to what you do or fail to do. Let me say that again. Do not give your attention to what others do or fail to do. Give that energy to what you do or fail to do. Because it goes back to there. And that's a great way. That's a great quote to put up on your mirror so that when you're doing your mirror work, when you're looking and trying to break the habit of comparing, when you're looking at this idea that I'm going to complain most of the time about all of these things, if I'm going to criticize others, all right, that may not be aligned to the expectations I have. Because remember, we all have our own expectations. Because there's two things, reality versus expectations. So you got to think about that. Do not give your attention or your energy to what others do or fail to do. Give that attention or energy to the things that you do or fail to do. Boom. Goes right back to you. Right back to you. So that is tonight's little discussion about the 3 cancers of the mind. 3 cancers of the mind. I'm going to share here what Ashley said. She says, my favorite part of my job is to shift my patients' minds when they come in being negative and miserable. She makes them laugh, vent, pray with them, etc. And at the end of their visit, they have another reason to smile or cheer up, even if their positive attitude was just with me for their visit. Ashley, I commend you. I honor you. And I love you because that is so true. Today, I was actually having a conversation with a colleague of mine, and I'm going to end it on this note. I was having a conversation with a colleague of mine, and I told her that every morning I have to write down, what am I going to do to make today a great day, right? That's a question in my gratitude journal. After I list the things that I'm grateful for, there's that one question is what are you going to do today to make today great? And the very first thing I write in it is I'm going to make people laugh. Because I know the science about laughing. I know the science about laughing. So it is always my goal to make others laugh throughout the day. And the funny thing is that I will sing, I will dance, I will just be silly. My inner child is alive and I make people laugh. I will say the darndest things. I will do the craziest things without judgment. I'm not there. If they criticize me, I'm going to give you more. If they're going to complain about it, then I'm going to move away. If they're going to try to compare, I'm going to be like, you're never going to be like me. I always say that because I have my own way. So that's one thing that I always do. I give the attention of what I do or I fail to do. I don't give the attention to what others do or fail to do because it's not my job. It is not my job to do that. My job is to take care of me, which goes into our mindset. You are in control of your mindset. You are the creator. You are the imagineer, all right, of your reality. You can create anything and make things happen. But don't let these 3 cancers, all right, don't let comparing, don't let complaining, and don't let criticizing tear your mind apart. Remove that cancer. It's going to take work. And if you're looking for support or help, I am your man. I am the mindset coach. If you want to receive a free PDF that I've created based on these 3 cancers of the mind, all you have to do in the comments is type down 3 C's. Again, if you want the free PDF that I've created for this talk tonight, all you got to do is just type in the comments 3C and I'll send it to you free. That's my gift for you for showing up and being here and being present with me. All right. That is going to be my gift. Again, like I said, the quote you need to write down is don't give your attention to what others do or fail to do. Give it to what you do or fail to do. With that said, I want to say thank you to my sponsor of our Tuesday night mindset moments, coaching time, free advice, whatever you want to call it. I just show up because I love doing this work. I am a mindset coach. I do have programs available if you know people who need to would benefit from this, or if you yourself want to start making that transformation like a butterfly and start working through some of this stuff. I have a great amount of programs. Now, when I do my programs, they're not a one size fit all. I customize it. We do you get a free one-on-one session with me so we can talk over what the plan looks like. And at the very end of the session, we discuss what your plan of action will look like, and then I customize it. All right. So your plan will be very unique amongst other people that I would work with. So if you're interested in that, all you got to do is comment, sign me up, and then I will send you the information and forward it to you. We'll connect with each other. Like I said, I always give out a free one-on-one consultation. All right. That's my gift as well. And then we'll go from there. All right. I work with everyone because I'm big on the mindset. Again, thank you to our sponsor, Sideways Sounds Engineering, which is a recording studio in Denver. My good pal himself, Pierre Carrillo, has been behind that engineering work for over 20 years. He specializes in hip hop and R&B. He has worked with major artists. He has also worked with hundreds of local artists and musicians. He has an immense passion for the work that he does, and he treats every client's work like it is his very own. All right. He uses high industry gear like the Universal Audio Interferes, Avalon tubes, and Newman mics, as well as the latest and the best plugins from Waves, Universal Audio, Fab Filters, and others. You can reach him at on Instagram at Sideways Sounds, or on Facebook at Sideways Sounds Engineering, or you can also visit him on his website, that is sidewayssounds.com. With that said, my name is Troy. I am your mindset coach, and thank you for tuning in on our Tuesday free advice. Ashley, I will send you that PDF. If you are watching the replay on this, again, comment 3C, and I will send you the free PDF, all right, of tonight's session of our free advice talking about the 3 cancers of the mind. Also, if you want to start looking into or considering or know someone who can benefit from a program such as this, tag them in the comments, tag them, share this video out with others. Let's get that word out. Let's bring them in and let's support them and help them. Because like I said, you are your own creator, your own imaginary, your own producer of your own world and your own life. All right. Love you all. Thank you very much for tuning in, my friend. See you next Tuesday. All right. When I bring you more free advice, just like tonight, here on this wonderful, wonderful evening of fun, glamour, and excitement. I always say that. All right. Wish you a great one, and we'll see you next Tuesday.